Hey guys, it's Becca Gamer or Rebecca. Welcome back to my channel, my lovelies. I hope you're having an amazing day today. And if you're new to my channel, hi, thank you for stopping by. Let's get into this video. So today I wanted to talk about a very special TBR. So I created this list of books that I want to read based off of authors that I've already read from and that I want to read from again. So basically in this video I have 10 authors to talk about today, and I'm going to go through how many books of theirs I've already read and what my ratings were of those, how many of their books are on my TBR, and if I own any of those physically already. And yeah, you can let me know down in the comments if you like any of these authors, how you feel about any of these books. Hey man! So for the first author, I'm going to be talking about Holly Jackson. I discovered Holly Jackson with the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. I assume most people have. And I have one of her books on my TBR, so let's go ahead and talk about those. Speaking of the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, I'm going to start off with Killjoy. This is the novella that is taken place before the events of Good Girls Guide to Murder, but it did come out afterwards, and I gave this 5 stars. Of course, next up is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I love this book so much. I have read this book twice, and I have given it 5 stars both times. This book follows our main character, Pip, and I love Pip, one of my favorite main characters of all time. She is basically investigating the rumor from a few years ago where a girl was murdered by her boyfriend and then he committed suicide. That's the rumor. Go read this if you haven't. As for the second and third book in the series, Good Girl Bad Blood, I've also read twice, and I gave this 4 stars. And then for As Good as Dead, I gave 5 stars. Really enjoyed these. And then Holly Jackson has come out with 2 other mystery thrillers. First is 5 Survive. I gave this 3.5 stars. It's basically about a group of kids who get stuck in like a camper out in the woods. I enjoyed the main character, but it wasn't the best. But it was good. And then the reappearance of Rachel Price. This is definitely what I was looking for when I read 5 Survive. I gave this 4.5 stars. This is a fun premise. So it's basically about our main character, her mother. She goes missing, and then it's like talk of the town, and then a film crew comes to film about the disappearance, and then her mother, Rachel, reappears. I totally recommend this. And the next book I want to read by her is Not Quite Dead Yet. I don't own it, but I do want to acquire it soon. I honestly will read almost anything she writes, really. Next author is the author that I own the most books from. It is Riordan. As you can imagine, I read the Percy Jackson series. I love the Percy Jackson series. And then I have 7 books on my TBR and then 1 that I do not have yet. Like I said, the Lightning Thief. So I have my original Lightning Thief copy, and then I have the new copy because the spines on these are gorgeous. I gave the Lightning Thief 4.5 stars. These are what the spines look like, and I'm going to go through my ratings really quickly. Like I said, 4.5 stars. Sea of Monsters, 3 stars. The Titan's Curse, 4 stars. I love this cover. Battle of the Labyrinth. I kept my original of this one as well because this is my favorite book of the series. I gave this 5 stars. The best book of the series. Lastly, The Last Olympian, which I gave 4 stars. And the last book of Rick Riordan's that I have read is Percy Jackson's Greek Heroes, and I gave this 4 stars. A little slow paced, but I really enjoyed reading from Percy's perspective. Now, on to the Rick Riordan books that I own that I have not read yet. I do have Percy Jackson's Greek Gods. I cannot wait to read this. And then I also have Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Demigod Files. Just a quick little read. And then I have 2 books that are the beginning of series. I have The Sun and the Star, which is about Nico. I cannot wait to read this. And then The Heroes of Olympus. I'm pretty sure it's basically the same thing as Percy Jackson. It's just a different group of kids after Percy. And then lastly, for physical books, I have the Kane Chronicles. These are all of the old covers. Cannot wait to read this. This is basically Rick's Egyptian series. Egyptian mythology. See, my stack is getting high. And then the other book I want to read from him specifically is Chalice of Gods. That is basically Percy Jackson continued. That is during his senior year. For the third author, I'm going to be talking about Harley Laroux. I have read 4 books from her, and I have 3 on my TBR, 2 I physically own. I'm pretty sure I saw this series on TikTok. The Souls trilogy, I'm pretty sure it's called. I loved this way more than I thought I would. So the first book in the series is Her Soul to Take. I gave this 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this couple. I really enjoyed almost everything about this book, honestly. To keep it short and sweet, basically a college student accidentally releases a demon. The second book in that series is Her Soul for Revenge. I gave this 5 stars. I still remember parts of this book. This is going along of like the same story from the first book with the same couple. I love this so much. And then the last book in that series is Soul of a Witch. I love this cover. I loved this couple so much as well. It's so hard to decide which couple I preferred. But this is one of those books where it's like the main character in here is just now learning everything in the books that we've already read in book 1 and 2. So it wasn't the best of the best for me, but I still really, really enjoyed it. The last book I read from Harley is The Dare, which is a very short novella, but let me tell you, I really enjoyed this. 5 stars. So this is technically the 0.5 to her Losers series. So moving on to the books I want to read Losers, book number 1. And then physically, I own House of Rain. This book is so pretty. I was actually gifted this. So this is definitely going to be my next physical read, but another book I want to read by her is Halloween Haunt. I think I would be really into that, and I really did enjoy her writing the both times I've read from her, so I can't wait to continue reading her. The fourth author is Kate Alice Marshall. I have read 4 of her books, and I have 3 more on my TBR. I love Kate Alice Marshall. Like, I don't even feel like I need to tell you the synopsis of all of these. Like, just go and read them. I'm pretty sure she's YA mystery thriller, but I really enjoy her books. First up is Rules for Vanishing. I gave this 5 stars. This is literally a fever dream as a book. Next is What Lies in the Woods, which I also gave 5 stars. This is basically about a group of girls. One of them was attacked, but they may or may not have been telling the truth about what actually happened. Next up is Our Last Echoes. I really enjoyed this one as well. I still think about it sometimes. This is basically about a girl who feels like she remembers drowning, but she never did. And her mother vanished on an island, and she gets to be able to go back to that island, and some weird things are definitely happening on that island. And then my most recent read, The Narrow. I really love this cover. I gave this 4 stars as well. I still think about this. This is a really good book as well. And then for my TBR, I have one physically, These Fleeting Shadows. The synopsis is not that interesting. It's another YA book about going to an estate that's either haunted or some way fantastical. But it's Kate Alice Marshall, so obviously I'm going to read it. And then for the rest of my TBR, I have A Killing Cold on the way to me. I'm so excited to read that as well. And another book I'm interested to read by her is Girls Before. So 2 more books I need to get by her, because let me tell you, I enjoy her books a lot. Next up is a pretty easy one. I have Eva Ashwood. Now, sometimes I feel like people might get confused because the first book is called Twisted Game. This is not Twisted Game, Twisted Love by LJ, the white covers. This is by Eva Ashwood, and I love this series so much. I read this, and the only way to get the second one was to order it. So while I waited for the second one to come in, I reread this and I annotated it. I never annotate dark romance, but I love this. 5 stars both times. So this is about a struggling college student, a really struggling college student and she finds herself at a brothel because she is a waitress at a strip club, but she's trying to find ways to make more money. She finds herself at a brothel. She's going to try and sell herself, but the man that she was going to do that with actually ended up getting attacked and killed by a group of 3 men, and those 3 men are like, "Oh girl, you was not supposed to see that. We can't have you talking." And basically obviously it's a dark romance, so blooms a relationship, and it's crazy and it's stupid in some ways, and I love it. The second book, Beautiful Devils, I gave 5 stars. Corrupt Vow, the third book, I gave 4 stars. And the last book, Savage Hearts, I gave 5 stars. Loved. The 2 other books I want to read from her I do not own yet. It is Filthy Rich Santas, and I'm not sure if that is the same guys that are in Filthy Wicked Psychos, which is the series that I just showed you. I would assume so, but I don't know. It's like a Christmas read, dark romance Christmas read, and that's fun. And then she has another series. The first book is called Vicious King. I would also be interested in reading that as well. Next up is Neal Shusterman. I thought it was Shusterman this whole time, so I'm probably gonna say it wrong. So I have only read 3 books from him, and I actually have 6 books on my TBR. So the first 3 definitely caught my attention. That being Scythe. These covers are great. They're amazing. I love them. And the story inside. I've actually read Scythe twice, 5 stars both times. So this is basically about 2 main characters who are in a world where there's not really much struggle. Like there's no hunger, there's no world-ending issues, and death isn't even an issue, but obviously everyone can't live forever, so they have scythes to be able to pick people off and kill them. And our 2 main characters have to train to be scythes. This is so good. Read this. The second book in the series I gave 4.5 stars. I had such a fun time in here. And we also met a character named Grayson in this book, and I named my car a gray Honda after Grayson. My car's name is Grayson, so. And then the last book I read from him is The Toll, which is a 600-page book. If you would have told me at any point in my life before I read this that I would be reading a 600-page book and I would be rating it 5 stars, bitch, you're lying. But here I am, living it. I loved this book. Every page. Nothing wrong with it. Yes. Now, I love that series so much, and the reason I reread Scythe was because I wanted to reread the whole series again to be able to get to Gleanings, because when I read the series the first time, I didn't want to read Gleanings because I didn't want it to be over. And I still don't want it to be over, so I still haven't read this. This is technically the 4th book in the series. It's a short story collection, so I just need to get to it, but I don't want it to end. But I will read it someday. And I actually have 4 more books on my physical TBR. So I have Everlost, which is another series of his. This is about 2 kids who are stuck in limbo. Kind of like, well, I was going to give you a book to compare it with, but I don't know if it's a spoiler. You know what I mean by limbo. Anyway, Game Changer. I don't know what this is about. Basically, he's just hopping through different universes. And then Challenger Deep, which is just about, it's a contemporary about a character going to the deepest point on Earth. Challenger Deep, the southern part of the Marianas Trench, whatever. This has talk of mental illness, I'm pretty sure. And then lastly, I have Dreadlocks, which is just a short Greek retelling book that he wrote. And I also want to try Unwind at some point, but I have plenty of books by him that I need to get to first before I buy another book of his. The 7th author I'm going to be talking about is Jennifer Saint. She writes Greek retellings. I have read 3 of her books, and there are 2 more that I want to read. I don't really feel like I have to tell you what they're about because the name of the character is the story it is about. So first I have Ariadne, which is my favorite one so far, 5 stars. Atalanta, which I also really love. This is probably my favorite character that she's written of, but 4 stars. And then Electra. This one was good. I wouldn't say it was about Electra that much, honestly, but it was good. And the next book I own by her is Hera. I haven't read this one yet. I am so excited to read this. And then the other book that she has out is Immortal Heart, and I will be getting that soon, and I will be reading it. Next up is the first thriller author that I've ever read from, Wendy Walker. So I have read Don't Look for Me. This is so good. I gave it 4.5 stars. This is about a mother who goes missing, but it's from her perspective. And then Emma in the Night. This is about 2 sisters who go missing and only one of them returns. I gave this 4 stars. What I really like about her writing is how much research she has done. Like, these are psychological thrillers. These are so good. The other thriller that she has written that has caught my eye is Blade. I know it's has something to do with a figure skater, but I'm kind of down for whatever because it's by Wendy Walker. Then next up we have Matt Haig at number 9. If you want me to be real, I've only read 1 book by him, The Midnight Library. I loved this book so much. This is like my go-to book recommendation. Like, if somebody says, what book should I read? Give me a random recommendation. This is it. This is it every single time. I love this book so much. And how much I loved it, I went and bought 3 more of his books. I don't know if it's obvious, but I gave The Midnight Library 5 stars. I'm actually reading this one right now. This is his memoir, Reasons to Stay Alive. So far, I've enjoyed it. And so the other 2 books I have on my TBR is How to Stop Time, and this is basically about a teacher, but he is centuries old. He always appears to be 40 years old, but he is centuries years old. He has been through all of the times, and he's a part of a group. He's not the only person like this, and the only rule they have is to not fall in love, because you're not gonna change. So I don't know. I like the cover. It's Matt Haig, so I'm down. The next book is The Life Impossible. This is about another teacher, and she has a long lost friend who ends up passing away, and she gets invited to where this friend was staying, which is on an island, I believe. And basically she tries to figure out what happened in her friend's last days. Now, I'm gonna get to those before I start considering other Matt Haigs. And the last author, the 10th author, is Nina LaCour. She definitely has the prettiest books out of this whole list. I have read Hold Still. I gave this 4.5 stars. I honestly want to reread it. This was really good. It was really sweet for a contemporary, and it honestly reminded me of me and my late best friend, so I really enjoyed this. These are the other 2 books I have by her, We Are Okay and Watch Over Me. We Are Okay, I actually have started. I didn't get that far, just a couple pages in it. And it's basically about a college student who ended up losing touch with everyone she knew back home, including her best friend. And this book is about her reconnecting with that best friend. The last one, Watch Over Me, it's definitely my favorite cover. I love this cover so much. One of my favorite covers ever, probably. The synopsis is very vague. It's basically about Mila. She used to be a foster care child, and whenever she aged out, she was offered to stay at a farm, and she's staying at that farm, but it says she hadn't known about the ghost. It's haunted by the wounds its young residents had come there to escape, and Mila's own terrible memories are starting to rise to the surface. So another mental illness contemporary. I cannot wait to say I've read all 3 of these pretty books. And yeah, that is another long video from me. I really hope you did enjoy this video though. If you did, go ahead and give it a like for me. Comment if you can. Let me know what you think about any of these books. If you've read any of them, I cannot wait to get to them. I'm just excited to talk about these authors, to have read from these authors, and to continue reading from them. Let me know if by any of these books you have any authors that you think I would enjoy. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you later. Bye!